But in that show, you and King were going to lose your jobs to Al Snow and Jonathan Coachman. Yeah, this is this is one of those times where it feels like at times people forget what an important part of the show the commentary is. Fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. I think people look at it sometimes and say, well, that's an easy job. You just sit there, watch your monitor, and describe what you see. It's a little bit more involved than that, but yeah, it's challenging. Doing commentary is challenging. The faster the talents move, the more challenging it is for the announcers to tell their story. And so, you just try to keep up and tell the story as it's evolving and developing. And that's kind of what we did there. I wasn't real big on the angle because I'm not big on the announcers becoming a bigger part of the show than they're designed to do. But in any event, we did our job and fulfilled the assignment and moved on.
Well, part of the assignment is going to be tough for Coach and Al Snow because think about it. In this scenario, they're both sort of the heel announcer. And that's not to say that the heel announcer bit is a new thing, but usually it's a good guy, a straight man, and a bad guy. But the idea that we're both leaning towards being heels, but I mean, Coach has to sort of backslide on that a little bit and side with some of the baby faces, and it's selective and it's just a miss. And it feels like you guys put both, I mean, it's not like it's your call, but the company put both of these guys in a position to fail. And I know that's maybe part of the story, but it's not like the show is going to be better with really a first time commentator in Al Snow. This is not necessarily something he's got a ton of experience in.
Right.
And we're going to put him on the number one wrestling show in all the land and make it live and hope it goes well. And Coach can do this, but now Coach has to do this as a heel character, not playing off of you as a straight man. So he's going to default to being the baby face when he's really a heel. It's a mess, to say the least.
Yeah. It was awkward.
Yes.
Let's put it that way. It was an awkward fit. And, Coach and Al did the best they could. That was brand new roles for them. So, yeah, it was challenging to say the least. It's a hard job. And they were put into a very, what I think was unwinnable situation. So, we can talk about that as the show goes on, but that's kind of the theme of the show was this announcing angle. So it was interesting to say the least and challenging, very challenging.
This episode of Raw is notable for a few reasons. One, because it's announced that you're going to wrestle Coach on Raw for the announcer's job, which I'm sure you were thrilled with.
Yeah.
But the other thing about this episode is we're building a story where Eric Bischoff is battling with Steve Austin over control of Monday Night Raw, and Hunter is attempting to reclaim the world title from Goldberg. And this is the episode where Goldberg spears Bischoff into the corner and almost puts Bischoff's head into the turnbuckle. This era of Goldberg in WWE, in a word, was probably just a miss. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think maybe we were trying too hard to find something viable for Goldberg to do, a landing spot that would be memorable. And that's what we were looking for. But this whole storyline was developed, at least in my take, on how we build Goldberg, and trying to build Goldberg in a way different than Stone Cold at times was challenging.
Something else was challenging is trying to figure out, will we see him again? Will we not? What is the future of Dwayne Johnson? There's going to be a promo that airs on this episode of Monday Night Raw from the premiere of the movie, The Rundown, where he says he wants to be on Raw, but if he never gets the chance to do that again, he wants to thank Vince, the wrestlers, and the fans. And that sounds like a half-assed goodbye here, Jim.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It sounded like it, but it wasn't. And I think sometimes during that period of time, we weren't real sure what was going to happen.
Right.
I mean, Rock had great opportunities, and he was putting out hit movies. His movie career is launching and becoming more powerful. So we're very proud of Rock. He was just getting this thing really rolling, And I like that movie you mentioned. It was a good flick. He had some nice successes, some nice wins. Did Rock in those early days, and still does. But bottom line is that he came out of the box hot, and is kicking out some damn good films early on.
The show does a 3.58 rating, which means 4.66 million viewers. It's the lowest rated episode of Monday Night Raw in months. And Raw the next week is in Chicago with a hell of a main event. Rob Van Dam winning the Intercontinental Championship from Christian in a ladder match. This is a new era of Monday Night Raw. A ladder match for the Intercontinental title. Not on pay-per-view, on free TV. It's a big moment, a big opportunity for guys like Christian and Rob Van Dam. First of all, to be in the main event of a Monday Night Raw. But secondly, when it's high stakes like this, you guys are swinging for the fences. That's a heck of a main event, dude.
Yeah, it was. Those guys really went above and beyond the Call of Duty to steal the show, and they arguably did steal the show. It was a hell of a match.
Well, you're actually going to be a guest on this episode of Monday Night Raw on the highlight reel with Chris Jericho. And that's where it's revealed that the match with you and Coachman is going to become a whipping match. I guess here in the South, we used to call it a country whipping match. Either way, during this segment, Jericho attacks you, puts you in the walls of Jericho for quite a while. And then it's time for your match. Coach is going to come out wearing a Brett Favre jersey. And Jericho's going to do guest commentary, and he's comparing Coach to a young Tito Santana. You're going to whip Coach. Coach is going to whip you, and you hit him with a low blow and a stunner. Some whippings with Bischoff here, and then you get the win, and then you do the big beer bash with you, Stone Cold, and Jerry Lawler. A whipping match. I'll tell you, I have blocked this out of my memory, and I'm sure you wish you could too.
Yeah, it wasn't much fun. It's not the fact that, the strap hurts and all that stuff. That's a fact. There's no way to work it. You got to lay it in and go with it. And that's certainly beyond my job description, but you just do the best that you can. But I thought that angle I'm glad it didn't go any longer than it did. I thought I was getting tired of it. And I think a lot of the fans were too.
I mean, how does it become a whipping match? Do you think at any point that this was all just guys in the back having fun, or are we trying to gimmick something up and make it palatable? Or what do you think of the stipulation of it being a whipping match?
Well, it was a gimmick that maybe anybody could relate to. It was all about the whipping and the strap and all that. So that's kind of hard to master, or not hard to master. You just beat the shit out of each other. I know somebody who told me, gave me some, maybe Arn Anderson or somebody said, I think I wore an extra pair of long handle underwear on that thing to help pad the strikes of the leather strap, which are kind of stiff and unforgiving, to be honest with you. So it was fun to be a part of it and see if it could get any ratings and see how it worked. But I was really happy when it was over.